Meeting's being recorded. Let's get going.
Okay.
Okay.
Showtime.
I failed to print out the agenda, but I happen to know it has only one.
Do you want me to go print some out?
No, I
All
don't
right.
print out because there's only one item on it, and
All
that is
right.
to discuss the contract negotiations. And I think we all had some homework to do. Bill, how do you want to start this out?
Well, I have someone on the phone here who's not going to join us by Zoom, Danielle DeLucia. And Danielle works with a guy, Gary Pink. Do you folks know Gary, Access Director there? If you know Gary Pink, I think we talked about it last time. And she works with a company, Okers, that Gary Pink works for. They sell video and other all sorts of equipment and service and install. And Danielle is, I believe, willing to help us on the capital plan. And so what I was going to do now is just put her on, she's on the phone here, have her join through my phone, introduce her, and then we'll move on to the rest of our meeting, if that's okay. Is that all right?
Okay.
All right. Okay. So Danielle, hi.
Hello. How are
Oh,
you?
okay. So I'm here with the I guess it's Frontier Community Television uh,
Yep.
and it's the cable committee, and it's the towns of Deerfield and Sunderland and Whately, um,
Yeah.
and not up for a license, but sometimes circling around is the town of Conway. And Joyce Palmer Fortune here is the chair, and I'm terrible with names, but we have it may let everyone introduce themselves briefly. Greg, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Greg Snedeker, Assistant Town Administrator with Deerfield, but Bill, you and I worked together on the
Yep.
Gill
And Gil, yeah.
10 years ago. So
Yep. No, good to see you again and
yeah,
talk to you
you
last
too.
time.
Yeah.
Okay, and next up.
I'll go. This is Pete Kane, the town administrator in Whately.
Okay.
All right, around the table, start with you.
Jonathan Boshin, General Manager, Frontier Community Access Television, and Frontier Community Access Television is hosting this meeting today.
Thank you,
Uh,
Josh.
Becky Torres, Sunderland Town Administrator.
Joyce Palmer Fortune, the representative from Whately for this the cable negotiating committee.
Okay, so
Hey, we forgot there, Jonathan.
There's at least one more person, two people are joined by phone.
Signed as a negotiator for town of Deerfield.
okay.
Then I see Mel and Larry and Phyllis.
Larry Reve and Phyllis Berman from Sunderland.
Southern, thank you.
And Mel P.
Hi, are you there, Mel?
Hello.
Yeah, yep, still here. Yep, hanging on. We're just get to the last. Okay.
Yeah, this
Hi,
is
hi,
Mel
Mel.
Patrick. I'm from Sunderland.
Hi, Mel. A lot of people from Sunderland. That's good.
Bill,
But
what's your
that's
last
because we
name?
want we don't like Comcast. That's
There you go.
why we're here.
Hate can be stronger than love. All right, so Danielle, if I'm going to put her here and have her just briefly introduce herself. As mentioned, she works at Okers Technologies. Gentleman Gary Pink, who's worked elsewhere and worked at Okers now for a while, is fantastic at all video and audio work, and he does a tremendous capital plan of many samples he's done for many of my communities that I've negotiated for. And
Before we continue, I should just mention to everybody that we are recording the meeting and we will post it to our YouTube page. So
thank
just an
you.
FYI, watch what you say about things. So
Okay, great.
because it will be public record.
Don't tell Gary I said something good. Uh, and so I was Danielle was helping the town of West Brookfield, a charter community, and I was part of that conversation where they were going over equipment, and I was just incredibly impressed. And she's indicated that she's willing to work with other communities. She does already work for communities. So Danielle, if folks can hear you, why don't you just, if you want, say a little something about yourself, and then I will, through email, exchange all the information, and we'll if things go forward as I hope, you'll very much be working with Josh. I'll give you a capital plan number, dollar number that would make sense, and And then what Danielle would hopefully do is come out and go to the studio and go to the town halls or any other building schools and take a look. So Danielle, if you'd like to just briefly introduce yourself, and thanks for doing this in such short notice.
So, as Bill said, Danielle DeLucia, I work for Okers. For my background is for 23 years, I did television production. I worked for Charter Communications, which is the cable company in Central Mass. But I was directly working with public access for about 20 of those 23 years. I ran the Grafton, Mass access studio for 11 years for the cable company. At that time, it was part of the cable license that Charter had to provide a 24/7, not 24/7, but a full-time employee to run the channels in Grafton. And then when I left Grafton, I became this public access supervisor. So I had about 27 of our 56 towns that I worked with directly, all through Central and Western Mass. So I've been out, certainly worked still with Chicopee and East Hampton, not maybe quite as far out as you guys, but I've been out to Pittsfield before. I've met Sean out there.
Yeah, no, I apologize. I was saying Pittsfield where I have given a call, but these towns, of course, are right by Amherst, so north along Route 2. Yeah, so they're actually not as far west, but further north.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm saying I've done like all kinds of central and western towns. So
Yep.
you know what I mean. I'm sorry, and I live in Worcester, so I'm fairly local.
We're a little closer than Pittsfield, so.
There you go. So in any case, so that's what I did for most of my career, and then some changes were in the company, and basically they eliminated my position. And I had worked with Gary, as Bill mentioned. Gary, he's my boss. I worked with Gary many times on like when I was the charter person and he was the vendor, and the town would say, oh, we've had this audio issue, or we've had this problem with the system, and then I would go out and look and make sure it wasn't the charter equipment. And then over time, like I ended up talking to Gary quite a bit through all these connections through these public access stations that he had sold gear to. And then when my position got eliminated, he kind of reached out and said, did you ever think about doing sales? And here I am 5.5 years later. So at this point, basically I do all kinds of system design, sales, meeting rooms, public access studios. I've done libraries. I've done, corporate like huddle rooms. I don't like to do that as much because I really do come from a broadcast, background, but I certainly have incorporated hybrid meetings into, meeting room spaces with the PTZs, anything that you can think of, definitely audio boards, any kind of AV needs that anybody, has. And, it's nice too, because, having worked for a cable company, I kind of also have some, background with the other, like, you guys are dealing with Bill and I've been on the other side. Do you know what I mean? And had the government relations guy reach out to me and say, okay, what are these towns doing? You know what I mean? So I definitely have a lot of different, expertise in these areas. I would, after all this time. And at this point, I'm just looking to help everybody, whoever's, still doing public access, like to see that go for as long as it can go, and make everything look and sound as good as it possibly can. And, so as Bill mentioned, I had done the report for West Brookfield, and hopefully they have some good results. And if I can help you guys in the same way, I'm happy to do so. And, obviously we also sell and design systems. So, happy to work with you on any projects you had coming up in that area.
Folks, any thoughts, questions, or leave it for later? We don't have to, but I'm just very impressed with Danielle's work, and that's the first thing we want to do out of the box. And Josh, we talked about it, and I'm not sure if I sent samples, but I can, and I'll share with Danielle, is the capital plan. So I think that's great. So we'll talk further. I will to these folks, and I hope they're excited to bring you on to.
All right, so we've
But
so
don't we need Jonathan?
he'll be
For this meeting, I had to come.
there. We won't be able to see him well until he gets into his chair.
Okay.
Then we'll be able to see him.
Okay. All right.
So I know one of our items for homework was for Jonathan to look into the capital plan. Sounds like You brought in Daniela today to chat a little bit, so Jonathan knows a little bit more about Daniela.
And
Maybe
I'm
this-
definitely interested in working with the contacting Danielle for another Zoom meeting as well to discuss this further.
Yeah, and it's not that, really talented access directors
Yeah.
like here, but these guys they can spec equipment and it looks more impressive to the other side, and there's no cost, and no obligation. You don't have to buy Savvy. In the future, you want to buy from them, great, but there's no obligation, there's no cost, and she's very, very enthusiastic. I think loves what she does. And I did a nice job in West Brookfield. So with that said, that's great. And then I don't think I said I will. Dan, I'll do it tonight because I'm working this week and my family went away, which is good. I can just work. And they're having a good time. So I'll send you some sample capital plans. And also some sample like mini. Sometimes they're more complicated, but than we would need, but a little like an ascertainment report, maybe some simpler ones too, where you've been, where you are, where you're going. So those are the two things we want to sit down with Comcast on is a capital plan, a good capital plan, and a report and you'll see what's in the report, including if you have a good week where you had a lot of programming. It's always good to put in a programming schedule for a good week so they can see what you do. And then do you have annual reports, Josh?
Yes, they make annual reports and they go out to all the towns. There's like a page and a half.
Yeah. So if you
I can send you our annual reports if you like.
because we can, if they look good, I can make it part of the ascertainment report that you do. And this ascertainment report, to start off with, it will be from Frontier Community Television to the committee, and then the committee can do our own report. I can put together with and for you. So I'll send you all of those tonight. So
About how far back do you need those to go? I have my reports going back to 2022 that I can send you.
Yeah, I would go all the way back. So I can look at all of them since the license goes back to 16.
I'll see what I can find. I know we've lost stuff because
yeah, no big
a lot
deal.
of stuff that Chris did went, but let me look into games.
Whatever you have, it
prior to
doesn't really,
2022.
anything you have is fine. All right, and then Joyce, you want to go through there were the gross revenue franchise fee reports. Where did that stand?
You were gonna get my understanding was you were gonna get the revenue reports.
From
I don't have
Comcast?
them.
You didn't have.
From
Okay, all right.
Comcast.
So I'm making all that. I haven't reached out to the and remind me again. The government affairs person, is it Eileen or is it
Eileen, it's Eileen Leahy, yeah.
Eileen? Okay, good. So I work with Eileen a lot. All right. So I will. Same thing. I'll email her tonight and ask her to say I'm working with you folks, and ask if she can give the gross revenue reports for all three communities. I would ask back to 2016 if she could do that. So, by the way, you probably simply added the numbers together based on the December 31st, 2024 subscriber number. The three communities have 2,144 subscribers as of that.
Okay.
And I will put together I'll come up with a number, and I really have the number now. I mean, I would using $140 per subscriber, which is far higher than Comcast would like to provide in capital. What I would say with respect to the capital plan is that you can't make it up. It all has to be honest, but it's your needs. We're not balancing it by cost, as the Cable Act has the company do. It's what the needs are. So, if a capital plan came back with, $300,000, $280,000, whatever it is, it is. I'm not concerned about being high. I'm only concerned if we forget to put in categories and we're not accurately listing the capital expenses that you have going forward. But it has to be, real, based on substance, and straightforward. But we don't have to balance it by cost. That'll be done in the negotiation. And so, we're not New York City, but on the other hand, you do have the 2,144 subscribers. I'll take a look when I put my work together and see what the subscriber base was beforehand. One of the reasons I want the gross revenue is that their subscribers are going to, obviously going to be down a good deal. Like, for instance, I can just do it now. Deerfield, if we go back to 2000, well, let's go to the end. Since it's December, let's go to December 2016. So December 2016, let me get the year here. Go back. In December 2016, Deerfield had 1,747 subscribers. 1,747. So now you're at 1,201. We'll be doing the math. The Sunderland in 2016. Did I look at the right one? Make sure that 1 second. Yeah, and look at that way. It's in the way here.
Go ahead.
So Sunderland in 2016 had 1,167. 1,167. Now Sunderland's down more. They're down to 556. And then,
Sorry, Bill, could you say those numbers again?
sure, and I'll put them on a sheet of paper for you when I put them together tonight. But Deerfield now has 1,201 subscribers. 1,201, and at the end of 16, it had 1,747.
I've got the financial figures for the last 2 years from Comcast. Do you want those?
Oh, yeah, in a second, yeah. And then Sunderland was one let me see here. Actually, let me take a look. I have the right number there. I think it's 1,000. Yeah, 1 second. All right, so Sunderland, where'd it go? Oh, it was 1,167, 1,167 in 16, and now it's 556. We're going over just to look at that. And then Whately, let me also double check Sunderland now, again, because it's so much lower. Let me take a look.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah, people cut the card. So Sunderland, 556. And then going back to Whately. In 2016, Whately had let's go. Well, Whately had it's the town. Let me just see how that'll work in here. Because it looks like 537. That's it.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
We only have about 750 households, so.
Yeah, that was back then. So that was 15. So 16, yeah. So 16 would be here, and there'd be 537. Let me just go down one more time. The columns are weird. They always put the community first, which makes sense, I guess. So Whately, 537, and now you're down to 387. So I'll do the percentages on that, but the critical part is while their subscriber numbers are down, their revenue, of course, is not down by the same amount because they sell more services, they increase their prices. So Comcast will focus on the loss of revenue, and we'll be pointing out, the loss of subscribers, and we'll point out the loss of revenue is not.
Just clarify something. That's why we haven't seen like a cutting cost with the current contract, I take it.
I mean, why you haven't seen a lower revenue.
Right, but why we haven't seen less at the same time.
Yeah, and I'll compare
Okay.
that to other places on your reduction on revenue, because then I'll be able to say, well, look, I mean, these towns, the revenue here is holding even more steady. So, you know, a lot of places, times the revenue's gone down more in the last year, but you know, things can change year to year. So with that, so I will put that together on a sheet that has the financial analysis sheet that I'll do tonight, and that I'll just put all the information to subscribers. And yeah, I don't have the earlier gross revenue, but if you could give me that gross revenue number, yeah, that's was one town or three.
I think John has a.
I had gross revenues for Deerfield
Okay,
from July 1st, 23 to June 30th, 24, $99,645.27.
So that would be the revenue we took in off of.
that's right.
Yeah,
And
not
you-
the gross revenue.
Peg revenue.
Oh, okay, that's the you got for
That's
the
that's the
right.
franchise revenue.
Okay, yeah. All right, so that's helpful.
And that's for
Yep, go ahead.
24 to 25, if you want those figures,
Yeah, sure.
from July 1st, 24 to June 30th, 25. That number was $94,616.53.
Okay, and that's 24 to 25,
Right,
and the other was 23 to 24.
right.
Okay, yeah, and so you know, I mean, it's gone down, but it's didn't fall off a cliff. And that'll reflect the gross revenues. As I mentioned before, in the next license, we'll get quarterly payments.
Hey, Bill, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the whole gross revenue franchise that we get from this. With the previous contract 10 years ago, was there a separate because I haven't seen the franchise agreement, but was there a separate capital negotiation that went on for the three towns? And did it differ due to the sizes? Was there no capital? Was it just build out at that point?
No, good question. So that Deerfield, for instance, had if it was payments in four different parts. So it had 50,000, 11,000, so 50,000 and then 15,000. Let me just put it here. Plus 15,000 plus 4,000. So being on for each subsequent anniversary. So so that would have been then 8 more or like I guess nine more. So 9 times 36,000. So if I have that right, Deerfield was $101,000
For
paid for the whole license, paid in 50,000 up front, 11,000 on
the
the
capital?
Yeah.
Outside of revenue.
Yes, outside of the franchise fee. Yep.
Okay, great. All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Because we are interested in some capital negotiations in terms of we're putting in a new municipal building, and we're already getting scope of service. I mean, we're already putting together scope of services for the meeting room for AV equipment, and Peg would actually be a great source to fund that.
Okay, so yeah, so that's the big enchilada in the negotiation, Greg, is the capital dollars that we're gonna push for. They're now trying to do, and they're told to do a per subscriber amount, like 80 cents per subscriber per month, $1. The problem is that the subscribers go down, you lose revenue.
Right.
It's the uncertainty. They really won't do a fixed dollar amount now. But what's still, and again, the West is different than the East, but what's doable is in the East still, although they deny it, is a hybrid method I've used a lot in the past, which is a set dollar amount for capital and a percentage of gross revenue. So yeah, 0.25% plus a set dollar amount, or 0.5%. So that way they get the benefit of the percentage. If the revenue goes down, they pay less. We get the benefit of the fixed dollar amount, but unlike the per subscriber amount, we get the benefit of on the percentage of gross revenue that, of course, it grows. Whereas the per subscriber amount, if you agree to one amount for the 10 years, it doesn't change. Right. So, all right, Joyce, you want to go through your list on the next item?
I think, yeah, we were So at this point, I think for the next meeting, I want to just make sure we finish up that one for, you'll provide us with a, chart of what you find, for the revenue reports going back to 2016.
I should be able to get that, and yes, I'll have that on a report. Yeah. Well,
Okay, and the same thing with subscriber numbers.
I'll put together tonight and send you. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
And then go ahead.
I'm recapping that. All right. So that's sort of the starting data for getting to what's our ask going to be for capital and what it's going to be for ongoing franchise fee, right?
Yeah, on the franchise fee, you're at 4.8%. So let's talk about that. Yeah.
You want to talk about that next? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Last time we said maybe we don't really want to ask for more there.
Yeah, that's right. I think what we want to do is, as said, is to stay there for now and focus on the capital number. And then if at one point, like we feel the capital number is not quite working for us, we can think about increasing the 4.8 to maybe 4.9. So we still stay below 5. So we don't, because if you get to 5, you lose money anyway for the deductions. So they prefer to go to 5 and give you less capital, because that way that 5 is not a real 5. So yeah, I think we stay, as you said, and I have my notes not before me, but last time I do remember, stay at the 4.8 because it's a good place. It's a fine place to be, and only increase it when we know what their capital number is. Then we can decide whether we want to increase it. But if not knowing what their capital number is, just to go to higher from 4.8, it doesn't mean it doesn't have any meaning. So so that's right. One of the things I mentioned last time, just mentioned with everyone here, that I focus on more and more, that is mentioned, the only way they can provide, the reason they can provide under their current system, as I mentioned last time, internet service or telephone service, because they have a cable franchise. The FCC lets them provide it, doesn't let the franchising authority regulate it, doesn't let you get payments for the use of the rope right away for that. So the only reason they now, as a cable company, if they don't want to be a phone company, they can use the public way for internet, the telephone, particularly internet, is because they have a cable franchise. So given that, even though internet revenue is not cable revenue, that I don't think it's fair to ignore it totally, because they're providing that because they have their cable franchise, and so they get a benefit from that cable franchise that I think we can look at from the perspective that as the cable revenues go down, or if they go down, that access has less money. But if cable revenues go down with a cable company, they also are still benefiting on the internet side because of streaming and other uses of the internet. So that's something they don't think about, that I try to remind them of, to say that's a benefit. And an example I give is like, I like analogies. You have someone who, I'm a landlord and I rent to a store that sells ice cream. And then, and the lease says I get 10% of their revenue. And then they're able to build a little shed on the property right next to the ice cream. And on that little shed, they sell chocolate chip cookies, and they're doing amazingly well. And so then the lease is up, and they come to me and they say, you know what? Our ice cream sales are down 10%, partly because the price of milk, and we have to charge more, and our total revenue is down. So we think we should pay less rent. And I say, well, I mean, you're selling cookies, and you're doing really well with that. And the guy goes, well, that's not your property, that's next door. But the reason you're selling cookies next door successfully is you're next to the ice cream place. So that's how I view the internet, that we're renting it out, they're selling ice cream, they're saying they're selling less ice cream, but they got a cookie store right next door. So, anyway, I like my analogies. All right. So with that said, let's talk about video return. each of the licenses has video return. So did we put someone in charge of, I think someone in each town should be in charge of looking at those locations. I'll give you an example. There's Deerfield, and in Deerfield, there's a lot of PEG access video return. It was the past and the future, right? We had looked at this, and because 6.3 A and B, I think 6.3 B is the future, the elementary school, municipal offices, center school offices, Sunderland Town Hall. I guess this is everyone. This must be everyone. Wait, yes. So this is everyone in the same sheet. And the above sites are also currently aggregated. All right. So this is everyone together, I guess we did on the license. So what I need is I need a working group, one person from each community who goes over this exhibit 6.3 and comes up with what are the locations that we'll have the ones that are here, which ones work, which ones don't work, and I'll put this on my email tonight. Which work, which don't work. If it doesn't work, why? Doesn't it work? And if it does, and regardless if it works or doesn't work, do you want it going forward? Now, remember, on the FCC's in-kind consideration order, 2019, upheld by the appeals court in 2021, some cable companies, Charter particularly, were able to argue that oh my God, for the last 40 years it's been done wrong, and that if there's benefits to a franchising authority apart from pay capital, which is outside of the 5%, if there are benefits to a community through the cable license that's not pay capital, that should count toward the 5%. And that could be the operating maintenance cost of video return, although Comcast, to its great credit, it's a great company, doesn't do that. It's not worth it to them, I think, because it tarnishes what is a very good reputation. Or cable service to public buildings, but they don't do that to their credit, and they may never do that. I think they won't in the foreseeable future. But in theory, it's possible. So in that world, they could say, well, the operating and maintenance cost will be the marginal difference because of this. They could say goes to in our case, it'll be less than 5%. So it would have to bring it above 5%. If we're 4.8, bring it above 5%, or 4.9 above 5%. They could deduct it from what they pay you on the franchise fee. So what that means is there's even more reason to think about, do you need the video return location? Particularly in the modern world, if you only go there live once or twice and it's not like the town meeting, you may do it by the internet. Sometimes you can do wireless, but internet. So when you look at all these locations, you should also put down, and I'll make a note of how often is it used and for what? And then each representative of each community decide what they need going forward based on that list, which I'll give you the categories again in the email. Does it work? If it doesn't work, why doesn't it work? How often do you use it? What do you use it for? And do you need it going forward?
Okay.
Hey, Bill, if I
Yeah.
may ask another question, because I'm going to have to leave pretty
Sure.
soon. And I can get caught up through your email, but this isn't my first time through this, so I
Great.
understand the process. But
Yep. And we're
I do have one concern though, which is if you remember what happened to Gill 10 years ago, what I don't want to happen to any of these three towns is if they pursue a MBI BEAD initiative, BEAD grant, that's going to come back to bite us on the negotiations. So something like that where if, for instance, if like a town decides that they want to pursue a MBI sort of BEAD grant for digital equity for one of their buildings, that is, they're not going to come back and say, well, you're in a franchise agreement. It looks like you're getting some equipment. So therefore we're not going to award that grant and give it to somebody else. So I just want to make sure that something like that doesn't happen.
Yeah, yeah. I think at the time I knew less about the state funding issue than maybe I should have, but there's nothing in the license. I mean, if we get a better if you knew you were getting funds for something, well, firstly, we're going to justify that we give reasons for why we need capital dollars, but doesn't mean we have to use it exactly for that purpose.
Right.
On video return, if there's a location you're adding in a community, then yes, I would say you want to, if there's some state funding that might come through that you could connect it as a municipal fiber system, we don't need them to do it. The adding is this: the type of companies just don't add new locations, at least not on their dime for years. So the best we could do, and I do this in licenses, is to say sometimes, well, if we want to add it, we'll give you notice, and you could charge, but you got to do it. Or the other thing I have is that we have the right to build it under your consistent with your requirements. So you go out and you get a company to build it. But in a world but that only adds to the PEG access video return. You can't use it for any other municipal purpose. So you do raise the point that if perchance you have municipal fiber, and we talked about this last time, and it's a little harder for you guys because you're so spread out. But if you have municipal fiber, or it made some sense to add some sort of small municipal fiber system, then I suggest we bring in, as I mentioned, Comtrack, Brian Hopkins of Comtrack, who may have already built things in your towns, and look at building for that. So I don't think here we're just what they have, we're going to require they continue it unless they want to buy out that obligation. And for places that are not connected, that issue isn't really going to come up because they're going to want you to pay for it or at least build it on your own as part of their system. And in Gill, it was the question of the building out of the homes.
Right. No, it's just merely the miscommunication between, sort of MBI and Comcast and the negotiation. What I don't want to happen is if one of these towns pursues MBI funds, that MBI comes back and says, well, you're in negotiations and we talked to Comcast and it looks like you're getting, what you're applying for, even though it may be something that's not really what they're applying for.
Yeah.
You
Well, we won't,
Yeah.
right. But we won't have that here on video return because anything that you get in the license that's new, you're going to have to pay for, or at best build at your dime. So there's nothing in this license that you're going to get that's new that would cause the state to say you're getting something from Comcast and then we don't want to give it to you. And for an existing locations, I'd say that, that raises the point. I'll make a note that I guess I don't want to open up Pandora's box here, but I guess in theory, it'd be good that if you wanted to drop something, you could drop it. But I think that's sort of implicit. But let me think about the drop issue. But if you already have it, then, but there's another way to get it, either through MBI or through a municipal fiber. Then I think our position should be that we should try to monitorize the dropping of that, so we get something for that, and we don't keep it on the books in case they were to change their perspective of putting that against the franchise fee. So
Yeah.
Great questions, I think, but a little different, but good points. It all connects.
It's just to bring awareness to it. So if a town is pursuing something like that, that we're all kept in the loop, because that could potentially, affect the negotiations in some way. So, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yep.
All right. I have to run because I have another.
And I think we're going to be done here. So go, and we're going to be done here about a few
Okay.
minutes. And I would say
All right,
that on
next
Gill, Comcast was sneaky about that.
we don't need
they
to
were-
rehash that here.
They were snakes. Yeah, they were, but that said, the license worked out. All right.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Bill. All right.
Okay,
bye.
thank you.
Can I add something for Deerfield?
Yeah.
We're gonna have a new town office building, the old 1888 building, they're gonna renovate the town hall. It's probably gonna take 2 to 3 years to get this online. But we gotta make sure that we add that into that 6.3A. So we have a town office now, but 2 years from now, we'll probably have a new town office.
Now, when you say town office, you mean separate from the town hall, or do you mean the town hall?
Maybe a different
On
building.
the town hall. we'll
One
have two
thing we're
town
gonna be
halls.
looking at doing is using PEG money to get new equipment for the town hall too, for meeting
to-
coverage.
Right, I was gonna bring this up though, but to John's point, because it's a, you know, what do they call it, the video return? That, you know, can we transfer the one to the town hall or the town offices to the new town offices, which
Yeah.
is on the same campus?
Yeah,
So
I think that's can I cut in here? We're getting a little bit into the weeds. What we asked for was to have one person from each town look into what that town needs. And it sounds like John is on top of the needs for Deerfield, and maybe you, Greg and John can chat offline and say, where do we need them? And I
Frank,
know
I'll stop and visit you.
yours is gonna be a function of time, right? Because you're gonna need to, when that new building is ready, do yours. In
Right.
Whately, I think our situation is we probably don't need the one in the center school anymore. We don't need the one, we may not need the ones at the library or the town hall. Because we haven't broadcast anything from any of those. So I'll take care of Whately.
Okay.
Do you think Dan has it in his bandwidth to take care of that, or is that something like that?
I'll work with Dan to make sure we get
You,
it.
okay, okay, good. So that is assigned out. So that is, report back. And I'll put down, me, John, and, Dan/Becky. To report back on that for next time. Okay?
Good. All right. That's great.
And Greg, I'll stop and visit you and we'll talk about it.
Sounds good, John. All right, I gotta jump off this meeting.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, thank you, Greg. All right. So folks,
Right.
this is something else. I think that's done. I'm making an executive decision on fiscal year 2025. I'm not going to bill you for anything up until today. It's just
Okay.
timing and everything, and I like to work for you, so that's sorry.
Okay.
What will you be sending the invoice to, just out of curiosity?
Well, I was going to send the invoice when I send one after, beginning July 1st here to the towns, and what they do with
Okay.
it, it's up to them.
Just-
But I'm
Yeah,
not gonna bill for our last
Yeah.
meeting.
And that's what we did in the past. I think the bills went to the towns.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, all right, I think we're good, and I'm glad we have Danielle on. I think Jonathan, that'll be a great combination. She's available next week, but then on vacation afterwards. So
I'm
okay.
setting up a lot of meetings next week, so next week would be the time for me to talk to her. I'm busy.
Good.
coming up.
Okay.
Well, that's great.
Okay.
If you could send me
Okay.
her email address, I'll just.
Yep,
send it
I'll send it to you tonight. Yep,
Let me
Okay.
just send you my.
good.
All right, good. I'm glad all of this is gonna get.
All
done
right,
by
just
email.
send it to you.
I think-
Oh, everybody.
Just trying to push the meeting along to the next topic. Which maybe is, line extensions in the three towns. That was something that Dan and John and I were supposed to look into for each of our towns to see where we need, lines to go. I, emailed Eileen Leahy to ask for strand maps for all three towns. I got a big fat from Eileen, like nothing. So I have to resend that and keep asking. I'm not sure what to say. Pretty please. But I think until I email 3 or 4 times, Eileen's not gonna respond.
Yeah, well, I think
So-
and the other thing, they act as if that's the Manhattan Project papers. I mean, it's so
Okay.
good. Keep on it,
So
and if
that-
not,
ongoing.
I'll take a look at the license. So eventually, it's a license violation.
Right,
Ha!
yeah, great. And then for my town, without the strand map, I can't give a complete number, but there is one family who is on the very end of North Street, almost in Deerfield, but they're actually in Whately. And I emailed them, and they would really love to be able to pay Comcast money every month. but they can't yet because they can't quite afford to get that cable up to their driveway. So I have at least one place in Whately where I would like to enter it in the negotiations to get a service to their house.
And that's just as you know that you know, you can't. It's hard to change density requirements, but when you have like one or two places or whatever number, that's oftentimes doable. So
Yeah.
good. You know, no guarantee, but
They will, yeah, I was gonna say, they will not make it under our density requirement.
yeah, no, what I didn't say when you, but that's the pretty. We don't have to change the density requirement. We just need to have it say that they'll add that location. It can
That they'll
even
add
be
that.
outside the license.
Correct. So that, I would like to get that location in, and, when I have the strand maps, I will take a second look at the ends of those strands and see if there are people who are disconnected who want to be connected.
Good.
And, so do you have any information for Sunderland? Okay. Do you have any information for Deerfield?
Only thing that we wanted to look at was to see if we could get our sewage treatment plant in Old Deerfield tied in. But
Yeah.
that's a long distance out from the
Get what tied in? I didn't-
Old Deerfield sewage treatment plant.
Oh, the old Deerfield sewage treatment plant does not have
Does not have cable,
cable
but it'd be good for operation for us.
because they need internet there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well,
And so that's a-
I see. Yes. Okay. Once they go there, yes.
Yeah, that's a public facility though, isn't it?
Public facility, yeah.
Do they have people who are there?
They're there part-time.
Yeah, well, I guess as long as you have people who are there sometime, you know, we have the license as Joyce was sort of indicating there. If it's a public building, and let me see, you know, it sometimes it has to say, sometimes it'll say along the cable route. But it usually will. Let me just take a look at the current provision. Let's see. Right, where to go? Here it goes. It goes.
It's got a sewer.
Okay,
Sewage- Second sewage plant for Deerfield.
Okay.
all right, so it's along, is it along the cable route though? I mean, where does cable?
No,
No,
no, right out of the way.
yeah, so,
You gotta go into the center of Old Deerfield, then down a road. Probably a quarter of a mile before you get to the sewage treatment plant, right next to a river, and nothing else is around there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we couldn't force them under the current license because it has to be along its cable route. They used to say, well, not in my license, they used to want to say, and they would say in some licenses, that it had to be a certain number of feet from the public way. I said, no. The state law says along the cable route. But if we can't say it's along the cable route, we can ask, and, you know, or separately, you know, they're a business too, right? So sometimes they're willing to reach a deal for the provision of internet service. So we certainly should raise it and talk about it, but we're not going to be able to force someone to the current license.
You may not get it, but we can ask.
Yep, good idea.
And so for the rest of the
Now,
time.
the rest of the town. We put the information out on the internet and we got nothing.
Okay,
No bite whatsoever.
okay. All right. So additional homework to be done here. What were some of the other points that we need to talk about? I know a lot of things are counting on work that Jonathan will be doing on the capital plan. I appreciate how much work you're gonna be doing on that ascertainment report. So I'm happy to cooperate on whatever you need from that. What else do we need to talk about, if anything, Bill?
Just give me a second. I don't think it's in that.
When do you guys need the capital report done by?
Well, I mean, with the license, you know, if we,
Sooner the better then.
yeah, I know,
So we-
if I'm going away and I'd like to have it done, it's really done in July, end of July.
Of next year or,
No, this year.
No, no. No,
or
this
in
year.
July though?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
could we just, if with Danielle helping, I think we could have, well, we certainly have, we could have it done
Okay. Well, that's doable.
or the end of the first week of August.
The first week, that I can do.
Yeah, because I'm away then in August, but with the samples I have and your experience and knowledge, I know there's a lot of buildings.
Let me
particularly-
put something on the calendar so I.
Yeah, if we
Yeah.
let me just see what the calendar, how it breaks up.
Looks like that would be Friday, August. How about Friday, August 8th?
Let me take a look when I'm leaving.
That's-
Um, let's see.
Okay.
Yep, let me just take a quick look at the well, it's like a little late for me because I'm leaving.
So we
for-
want the first then of August.
So, well, yeah, how about yeah, how about and, you know, if you don't mind, July 31st.
All
But I
right,
think
that
we'll be able to
works.
get this done, you know,
Yeah.
because it's not nuclear physics. We don't have to be, you know, show together. You guys will get it done, Jonathan, and I'll
Right.
help on the you know, the broad strokes and the categories. All
Okay.
right, so I'm going to make a note. Um, Or what about the remind me about Jonathan, educational access? You run that, you indicated, right?
We run the public education government access, PEG.
Right. So does schools do anything or not?
Maybe I can reach out to them. We do currently do a lot for them. So
Yeah, no, I don't think we should reach out because I don't think we want to share the money because you need it. But I just want to just understand, is there anything that, so you run the E program, so I think that's settled. You'll know the educational needs, and when you put the capital plan
Yeah.
together, you'll figure out, you know, are there
it should be easy. Just emphasize what we've done for them. We introduced the new scholarship this year and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
and on you know, on any equipment or whatever in the schools that you know, for meeting coverage, or you know, you'll want to scope that out also in your
Okay.
capital. All right.
Yeah.
what we need
You want to
for
do
the coverage.
P, E, and G in your capital plan, and
Right.
fill, you know, everything else. All right. So, Joyce, I think that from my perspective, I think we're going to ask for a senior discount. That's voluntary. They try not to give it, but we can talk about that later.
Okay.
And then the other thing though that's becoming let's talk about an HD channel issue. What did we say last week? Do you want an HD channel? I think you said yes, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
we want them for all 4 towns, or all for the 3 towns we're negotiating. Rather, we're working. Conway's has it, but we really should get an HD channel for all 3 towns because nobody really watches the lower numbers the way they used
Let's
to.
talk about the idea of all the towns, because you run this. You know, I know each town has its own government channel,
Yep.
So
and
the way it's set up, we have a channel 12, which is broadcasted to to the 3 towns we're negotiating in Conway. Then 23 is the same way, but the channel 15 is individual by each town. And the only one we can program right now is Deerfields. Whately's and Sunderland are done out of their town halls. It's just live meeting coverage and the bulletin board, basically.
okay, so we want to, you know, our position is we want each town, and currently in the license, let me look again at what it says for channels. Okay.
I think it'd be nice to have at least the 15s HD. The 12 and 23 can stay standard, but I think the 15s should all be HD.
All right, so
That.
okay, 3 channels. All right, so yeah, so each license, I don't think we want to harp on it too much, other than say each license will town will have an HD channel and 2 SD channels. And the SD, have you upgraded them to SDI? Or no, that's not, they haven't been.
I don't know.
Okay, so I think I normally ask that they upgrade the SD channels to SDI.
What's
And
the difference if you
it's
forgive
just
me?
it's called serial digital interface. It's a better quality picture. So
Okay.
it makes standard look better, potentially sound better. So
Will
SDI
that
and
be
then,
it? Will that still be in the lower numbers, or will that be in the upper
yeah,
numbers?
well, we can't control the numbers usually at the modern day, but it's in the lower numbers. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not HD. And then so these guys sometimes want to pay for encoders. We'll deal with that later. And we want an HD channel for each community. And then this issue, normally, at least in the eastern central part of the state, they'll want 24 months. They fight the HD here more. But here's the other thing we need. Let me just give it this perspective. We're gonna put this information together, the capital plan, the ascertainment report, and then sit down with Eileen. And we'll have a few negotiations, but they like to push back a lot in Western Mass. And so, if we don't get a license, if we don't get progress on an agreement in a reasonable period of time, there's different ways we'll have to discuss to try to convince them it's in everyone's interest to get this done. And I'll talk about that at another point. All right. So with that, I think.
Can I interrupt and ask a question?
Yep.
Just
Sure, go ahead.
the HD channels, will that be available for people who don't have Comcast X1 boxes?
Well, you raise a good point, and this is one of the other issues, that the issue of whether to give up your SD channels for the HD. So there's another issue that's come about recently about, like one license was done where if fewer than 5% of the people don't use HD, that they'll transition all those PEG channels to HD. For now, I think our position should be that when you get the HD channel, that they keep the 3 SD channels. Now, that's something even in the Eastern Mass, I get sometimes, but they really push back hard on. And most of the time, most people don't get it, and I don't get it all the time. So as a discussion point, and I'll lay it out and we'll talk about it, I think we would do that when the HD channel comes, waited a long time for that, that they don't get to reclaim a standard definition channel, or at the very least down the line, they have to wait a period of time before they can reclaim that. So if that's the case, if our position to start with is that they don't take back an SD channel, PEG channel, then we don't have to worry about as much who gets HD because you can watch it in SD. But an issue that's come up recently is helping people to transition to HD, who need help on that. Not only just mail them something, this or that, but go out and assist. And there was one license that has now appeared. And I have a copy. I just got yesterday. So I think that's a good point. And I think we can put down there the issue of helping people transition to HD. But I'll say this: if you don't have, there's a piece of equipment they can give you for free. They say they will. We can ask them to do more than say it. But if you don't have an HD ready set, then you can't watch HD.
What we could do too is like the basic programming channel on the SD, we can program it to both the standard def and the HD, so people that don't have HD can still watch that channel in standard def, and we still stream like the town meetings to the standard def as well. We'll have that capability with the new server to stream on multiple channels. So we'll make it work for people that don't have that availability.
Okay.
A lot of them are seniors.
I realize that's a lot of who watches our channels are seniors, and some people don't want to upgrade to HD. So we'll keep a lot of that available to people as long as we can.
That's like we do have HD. I'm talking about my peeps. That's all.
Yeah. So it'll be available. Like the channel 12 will also be what goes out to like the the HD channel, so it'll still be in standard def on channel 12, but I'll also be going out in HD, so that way, if you can't watch it in the HD 15, you can still watch it on 12, and we'll still stream the town meetings as well. So it's available in both SD and HD.
That's excellent. I have one other point that you may not be able to do anything about, but it looks like Comcast is trying to phase out landlines for phones. And is there anything you can do in any of the negotiations to be able to keep landlines? Especially again, I'm talking my peeps, my seniors, like landlines, and we have a landline. There are safety reasons for landlines. There are
Right.
many good reasons, extension, charging. There's lots of good reasons for landlines. And it looks like Comcast is really trying to phase it out. Can that be any part of any negotiation with the cables or not?
No,
Just bringing it up. Just bringing
I'm
it
not
up.
sure I understand what you're saying, Phyllis, because I know Comcast offers a phone service via internet. But all telephone service is through Verizon, isn't it, the landlines?
No, we get our landline through Comcast. And we've been
Well, then
told,
but it's through the internet.
well, we have a modem. It's actually split. It's not exactly the internet. We can
Right,
have
yeah, you know.
internet and we can lose internet and still have the phone. We can lose the phone and still have the internet. There's a modem
Okay,
that splits
right.
it. It's a traditional landline that Comcast is running. A lot of people have just kept it for years. And what we were told basically from Comcast is if we change our package in any way, they'll take the phone away.
Okay. Okay, I've never heard of that, so thank you for giving me that. Because I'd only ever heard of it being voice over internet, VoIP.
It's
Right.
not this is not VoIP that
Okay.
Comcast does.
yeah, although
Okay.
I mean, but Joe's right. I think it's delivered through internet transmission, though. I mean, it's their cables that.
Right, but if the internet goes out, they still have their phone, so this might.
Yeah,
be
well,
a-
no, I think I get that it may have different technology,
Yeah.
but so I guess the answer to that is no. It's outside our bailiwick. We don't have authority, and it wouldn't. We get nowhere, and we just they would. So it would be even bringing it up. Anytime you bring things up where they can just tell you no and you just accept it, it's a bad negotiating strategy. But the people to deal with that are the state, the Attorney General's office, particularly. I mean, they also have the DTC, Department of
We've been in touch with
Telecommunications
DTC.
Cable. But I think who's better on that? The AG's office. They were involved in some of the forcing companies to upgrade their plant, including New England Telephone and Verizon in Western Mass. So I think that would be a good place to start is the Attorney General's office. I get you some divisions and numbers if you like, and then you could reach out.
Thank you very much.
Sure. So
Thanks.
And again, I'm just advocating for my peeps, the seniors.
Thank you. Okay,
That
excellent.
was it. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
well, it sounds like we all have enough homework to do. Should we schedule a next meeting?
Yeah.
Sure.
And sounded like, Bill, you were gonna be out for August?
Oh, well, yeah, I'm going to be out for, August is the first weekend, beginning of the end of the first week of August, but I'm sure I'm just going to have to get ready. So, I'm okay with the end of July.
Friday, July 30. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong day.
The 31st is a Thursday.
And that's the capital plan thing. Friday, August 1st.
That's
I'm
fine
looking
with
at
me.
2026. How do I get up there? All right. All right. How about we do July 31st, which is a Thursday?
Because Dan can never make a Thursday.
All right.
And I know-
How about August 1st?
Hey,
Yeah.
Paul. Hey, I'm just at the end of a Zoom, so let me call you right back. Okay. Bye.
How does August 1st sound for a meeting date?
Yeah, good.
What time? 3 o'clock or 2?
Well, what time do you have? If you don't have constraints, earlier in the afternoon might be
Yeah.
good.
We do have constraints.
Okay,
That
all right.
one
then
of our
whatever you
members
need.
Can't
Whatever you-
really get here that early,
Yeah.
so that's why we're doing it at the time.
Yeah,
we're
that's
doing it.
fine.
So 3 o'clock on the 31st?
Yeah,
Is that Dan?
that's Dan, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's driving back from.
And I guess I'll be presenting my report that day to everybody. So lucky me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just I mean, what nothing formal, but just what,
No,
what you
I
have.
think anything you can send in advance.
I'll read it because it should go on to public record, and I don't mind. I like doing public
No.
speaking. So
Nonetheless, anything that you're gonna present at a meeting, it's really good if you send it by email in advance. So that other people can be ready, can maybe have thought of questions, things like that. Okay,
Okay.
and then people may have no questions whatsoever, or they may not get to reading it, but if you have something. So like Bill had mentioned, he's gonna put together this big email. If I get those strand maps, you're gonna get them by email. Cause I will send those straight away. And it's just, it'll make our time more efficient. Okay,
excellent.
all right. Okay, it sounds like we're about done. We have
One
more.
question.
Go ahead, John.
When do we have to start the public hearing process?
Well, that's a good point. I think we should put these things together. Well, let's talk about that.
We could talk about that at the meeting on the 31st.
Well, no. I think we could talk now.
Okay, never mind. Sorry.
I think we mentioned we would
We
do
had
it.
a timeline for that.
Yeah, in the
And
fall.
we were talking about doing it in the fall.
Right.
Yeah.
In early October. And maybe doing one for P and E and a separate one for G, or maybe we really do.
I don't know if it has any relevance to us, but National Community Media Day is October 20th.
Oh,
If we
okay.
want
Yeah.
the Monday, if we maybe want to do.
Well, I'd rather go earlier to get
All
get
right.
in. I think the issue is that I haven't done this for years. In terms of like making the hearings a big part of the negotiation. So,
I remember we originally discussed doing a hearing / open house for the station too, doing the hearing first, and then we have a little potluck afterwards and pizza served, and people check it out the station and everything.
I guess we're probably not going to sit down. So, I maybe where we could do is move up the hearings to mid-September.
And I like that.
Because I guess but if we're going to have hearings, we have to make sure that everyone knows about it and people come out. If you have a hearing where like there's 4 people, then that doesn't help you negotiate. So if I had a town, which unlike your towns, that everyone says that if they got 4 people, it'd be a riot. That I say, well, let's just sit down with the cable company now. I mean, there's no need to wait to have a 4-person hearing to sit down. On the other hand, if you have a community where there are a lot of people who are interested and involved and you can reach out to, and you have to you put it together. People don't come just because you advertise it. So then I
That's
think
true.
having that hearing and then going right into the negotiation with the cable company is good. But if we're going to do that, I think we're better off doing it in September to try to move it ahead. So with that, if we did something in, maybe the week of the 15th or the 22nd. We don't have to decide
The
now.
15th would be good, I think.
So what's a good day of the week that you don't have? Do you have every week that there's no board meetings?
Thursdays.
All right. So
Thursday
Thursday,
night.
September 18th.
Tuesday's team would be pretty good for us because there's not any meetings that go on to. Oh wait, you have your select board meetings Tuesday.
No, we moved them to Wednesdays.
Oh, you did. Tuesday might be the best night for
Yeah.
us.
Tuesday is better than Thursday because people.
Mm.
If you don't have a meeting.
Concom meets on Tuesday.
Are they gonna come to a hearing? Conservation
Yeah,
Commission?
well, they're all very active people.
Okay,
I'm just saying, they don't meet every Tuesday though,
right.
so they could work around it.
So how about Tuesday the 16th then?
Okay, let's make that a tentative choice. For a hearing, Tuesday 16th. And a part of our next meeting then will be, what's the plan to get people to show up?
Yes.
I think having an open house would be a good thing for EPCAT too.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, but that would be beforehand. So if you could, so it sets up the hearing.
Yeah, we need to do something that will get people in the door. And it might mean that, people around this table are calling their neighbors and saying, hey, time to show up. Or talk to other people on the other boards and saying how important it is that our board
I
meetings are
can
broadcast.
administer flyers to the libraries, historical societies, and schools and everything.
But I think, but it will need to be people asking other people, because I don't think flyer's gonna get many people to come.
Right. But
Yeah. So
I
that's on the
can,
next agenda. Everybody come with your ideas about how you're gonna get 3 people to come with you to that,
Pizza.
to that hearing.
holiday pizza.
One public hearing in one town?
It would be here.
Probably have it right here.
It would
Yeah.
be here and then also in the meeting room in Sunderland, if that's all right with Becky.
Yes,
Okay,
All right.
we'll set it up and we'll set up record equipment to record it and everything too.
Very good. Okay,
and we'll make sure to have a waiting room.
yes,
Yes.
Waiting room. and control the share screen.
Problem solved. No
Okay.
comment.
All right.
And the next
Okay.
meeting we
Next
said-
meeting is August 1st at the same time. I will be joining by Zoom. Because I will be overseas, but I will be available.
Well, I mean, how long are you overseas for, Joyce?
6 weeks,
Oh, and when are you back?
September 1st.
Wait, no, wait, you're back. Sorry, say it again.
I'm back September 1st.
So, so you're available. I'm sorry, what day did you say for the get
Look, I'm available August 1st. I'll just be joining you from
Oh,
overseas
okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the hearing.
by
Okay.
Zoom.
Yeah, no,
By-
I didn't. I had the wrong meeting. I thought you were talking about the hearing.
No.
I got it.
No.
Good. Yeah, good. That's fine. Sure.
Okay, great. All right, it sounds like we are done.
All right,
Um,
we'll
Excellent.
let my board know about the tentative open house date and my staff, and I'll start brewing up some ideas to make it a nice night.
Yeah, and something that'll bring
And,
those.
and what is the open house? What day is that, Jonathan?
That would be Tuesday night with the hearing.
Oh,
Tuesday,
okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, good.
September
Good refreshments.
16th.
Yeah. Great. I like they make cookies. Good.
I can get
So,
some stuff from Atkins.
Let's see.
Or
All right.
Richards. They're good too.
And it was at 3:15. All right. Well, that's great.
All right.
Good. All right. We got a lot done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.